Although VO2 max and lactate threshold are two of the biggest predictors of running performance, there's one piece of the puzzle most runners overlook, and that's strength training. See, strength training isn't just for bodybuilders, right? It plays a critical role in both performance enhancements and injury prevention, even in endurance sports like distance running. As a physical therapist, exercise physiologist, working with runners and athletes for over 10 years, I've seen firsthand how adding strength training can transform performance. See, over the past decades, I've been doing injury rehab, working with everyday athletes, right? Rehab injuries. I'm also a Marine veteran, so also work with military athletes, military candidates to get stronger, run faster than they ever thought possible. In this video, I'm going to show you why strength training is non-negotiable for runners who want to run faster, last longer, and stay pain-free. Here's what we'll cover: why strength training matters for both performance and injury prevention, the key muscles runners need to target, the exact exercises and program guidelines you can start using today. Stick around until the end, where I'll share how to run pain-free and join my free community and my challenge. So, Section 1, why strength training matters for runners. See, most runners spend 100% of their training time running, right? They only run alone. They think running alone is good enough for their legs. That's exercise for their legs, right? So running is cardiovascular, right? It's mostly heart and lungs. Sure, there's some muscular effort for your legs, but it's not true strength training for your legs, right? Here's the thing: running alone can't give you everything you need, right? So performance benefits, right? Running, obviously, the more running you do, you can improve your running economy, less energy to maintain the same pace. You can increase your speed and your anaerobic capacity. You can improve your stride length and frequency, but these things will be supplemented with strength training. So by adding strength training, you further increase your running economy, you further increase your maximal speed and anaerobic capacity, you further improve your stride length and frequency, and with strength training, you build tendon stiffness for powerful elastic strides at reduced wasted energy. See, research shows that heavy strength training can improve running economy by 4 to 6%. And additionally, injury reduction benefits. While the research is a bit mixed, that strength training, why we can't say that it can prevent all injuries, right? You don't always get hurt. But here's what we do know, right? Stronger bones leads to lower stress fracture risk. More muscle mass leads to, is very important, especially as we age. We want to avoid sarcopenia, that age-related loss of muscle tissue. Strength training also helps with better muscle balance and control, improves how your body handles running loads. Even a 10% increase in strength training volume can reduce injury risk by more than 4 percentage points. I've even seen some studies that in some youth athletes that they've reduced injury risk by like 70%. Again, the studies are mixed. So I worked with a Marine veteran training for his first marathon. He was logging, 60 plus miles per week, constantly battling shin splints and knee pain. So we cut his mileage volume a little slightly and then added 2 strength training sessions per week. And within 8 weeks, his pain disappeared, stride efficiency improved, and he was able to do his first marathon, pain-free. So let's talk about the key muscles that runners have to use, right? And how strength training can impact that, right? So running may look simple, but under the hood, the forces are massive, right? In general, running can put 2 to 3 times impact forces through your body every time your leg hits the ground. So per muscle group, we're going to break it down. So with the calf, the soleus, the gastroc, etc., that's up to 6.6 times body weight of forces. At the quadriceps, we're looking at 4 times body weight of force. At the glute medius, right, we're looking at 2.7 times body weight of force. So it changes with speed, right? At slower paces, right, your calves and quads dominate, right? We're talking about like 8 minute per mile pace or slower. As speed increases, right, you start going like below the 7s, the 6 minute per mile paces, glutes, hamstrings, and hip flexors come in. It becomes more hips, right? At top sprint speeds, we're talking about 4 minute paces faster, think elite sprinters. The psoas, iliopsoas, hip flexors, and hamstrings generate forces around 9 times body weight, right? Sprinters generate some of the most forces when it comes to the running events. Obviously, sprinting is different than distance running, but you get the point. When at high-end sprints, it's going to be more hips, more hip pop, more hip drive. So as you run faster, hip power becomes a king. And to get more hip power, you do strength training. There's a reason the top elite sprinters do strength training, right? It's part of their development, the strength conditioning. There's going to be strength training, and even elite distance runners also strength training, right? Don't fall for the myth that, you just run alone, right? If you don't care about speed, like you just want to do it for fun, sure. But if you want to run faster for longer, do some strength training. So when I first trained got into distance running, marathons, half marathons, I must admit, I kind of ignored strength training. So I would go on long runs and my legs would feel toast. It felt like jelly. I felt like someone took a baseball bat to my legs or my knees. My form collapsed, stride shortened, even my knee pain, I started getting like knee pain. But however, once I started building up, leg strength, glute strength, I not only ran pain free, but I was also able to like enjoy the runs, go on a half marathon, full marathon, and not have to worry about like limping around with like nagging knee pain for weeks. So, what are the exercises you need? So, here's how to train smart. You're going to focus on key types of exercise. So, one, the foundation should be just pure strength training, right? You think about your traditional strength training, slow and controlled exercise for the quads, right? Lateral step down, Bulgarian split squats, standard squats, lunges. For the glutes, think about single leg deadlift, hip thruster, glute bridges, side glutes. You think about side leg hip abduction. So you could do standing hip abduction with cable, side plank with hip abduction. For the lower legs, for the calves, we're thinking about standard calf raises, two-legged, single leg variation, weighted variations with a vest, weighted backpack, or dumbbell, barbell calf raises, standing, seated calf raises on the machine, right? So, for hip flexor, we got straight leg raise against machine, plank with leg raise, reverse plank, so many different options, banded cables, etc. So that's for like traditional strength training, right? You want to do that at least 2 times per week for all the major muscle groups. And then we got power training, right? And some people kind of break this into subsections like plyometrics or explosive strength, but I kind of put them in the power training category because essentially you're going to be jumping, drop jumps, depth jumps, pogo jumps, box jumps, squat jumps, power cleans, push presses, explosive step ups, explosive squats, explosive lunges, jumping lunges, right? Burpees, all these types of kind of power jumping movements where you're landing on your legs, right? The tendons have to rebound, jumping back up and down again. Even jump rope can actually be considered part of like power training, a weighted jump rope, weighted burpees. So all these types of exercises, and they don't have to be done on separate days. You could actually combine the power training with the strength training. So you do it at the very beginning, you do it at the end. You could have separate days. Some people like to do just a pure strength training day, then another day like a speed or power training day. Some people call also like a dynamic day. So there's different ways of programming it into your weekly training schedule. But regardless, you want to get it done. Some people like to do it as part of their warm up, like maybe we'll do some jumping drills for like 3 to 5 minutes, right? They'll maybe do some pogo jumps, jump rope, diagonal jumps, agility ladder drills for a couple of minutes at the start of their work as part of a warm up. So they do their plyometrics that way. Some squat jumps, tuck jumps, so many different types of jumps you could do, bounding drills, and then. Another key muscle that's also oftentimes ignored is hamstrings, right? So train your hamstrings, leg curl, banded hamstring curls, machine leg curl, physio ball leg curl, Nordic hamstring curls, right? Slow and controlled. Hamstrings very important. Even single leg deadlift can actually help with hamstrings as well, right? Again, you want to train the major muscle groups at least twice a week. There's different sets and rep ranges. In general, it's 8 to 12 reps, but sometimes you could do 15 to 20 reps, or sometimes you go very heavy, like 3 to 5 reps, right? You could actually mix it up. Some days you do very heavy, some days you do moderate kind of loads, rep ranges, and then other days you go very high rep ranges, right? And then you could do single set to failure fatigue, which is why I recommend for a lot of runners who work full-time jobs. They don't have like a lot of time to dedicate to lots of training, right? So they do their running and do single set to fatigue routines, or you could do multiple set routines as well. That's fine. Maybe we'll stop like 2 to 3 reps shy of failure. We'll call it reps in reserve. That's another way of doing it. Both ways work. I like, hey, if you just want to save time, be time efficient, do the full body, single set to fatigue, single set to momentary muscular failure. You can do it that way twice a week, a full body, or if you want to do split upper body, lower body, and if you want to do multiple sets, you can do that too, right? But again, think about your schedule, what works best for your season of your life, right? So strength work should complement your running, but don't try to mimic, right? Don't try to do all the running movements and drills with weights in your hands and things like that. Sure, some days you could do weighted runs, but this shouldn't be your main workout, right? You could just do a separate strength workout, right? Don't think I'm going to go run with dumbbells in my hands and ankle weights. Time and place for that, but it shouldn't be your main workout. So strength training isn't optional for runners. It's the missing link that improves running economy, increases speed and power, builds resilience to handle higher mileage without breaking down. So when you train smart and stay consistent, you'll not only run faster, but pain-free for years to come. So if you want to fix pain, prevent injuries, I have a free 5-day course on my school platform. So running pain free, use a link in the description. And if you want one-to-one private coaching, right? You want private coaching to work together. You want more personalized guidance. You could DM me on school, or I could join school. You could join my free course, or find me on Instagram, Dr. Ray Peralta. Send me a DM to join my 28-day Operation Pain Free program. Spots are limited, so reach out today.